fight. Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Start with you, Blair Flair. Who you got?
Double knockout?
Double knockout. Yeah, I want them both to just wind up, both of them at the same time. Boom, knocked out, both of them.
Wait, what if you fought them both at the same time? Would there be a double knockout?
Yeah, I'll knock both of them out. The same loose tooth pull. Bam, they both get a tooth missing. Instantly.
You need to work on your being so shy, man.
Since fighting Tank. And then the same thing with Rolly. I think Rolly became better from fighting Tank. I think that they knew certain mistakes that they made. I think they believed in their game plan. Got us all to believe in their game plan. I think they came to this fight with the right adjustments, but took it too far, I guess, for the sake of words. But I think that they'll both be better.
Yeah.
In their fight against one another. I don't know how to.
They're both super raw.
Yeah.
I think Ryan got more talent.
Yeah.
Ahead of Times Square's Friday Night Fever event, boxing pros worldwide revealed their picks for Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero.
I don't want to say that's crazy, but yeah, hopefully, bro. Hopefully for the sake of Rolly, he pull it off. But it's gonna be a good fight. No, you think? Huh?
Someone's gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody get knocked out.
Who hit a little harder though? Was it Ryan or was it Rolly? Because they both clearly.
I ain't gonna lie, Rolly hit hard. Yeah. People be sleeping on Rolly because he been obviously.
For Garcia and Romero, the fight will be for the World Boxing Association regular welterweight belt and marks each man's first effort in the 147 division. Few are predicting it go the distance either way, with over 80% of their combined wins coming by way of knockout.
Andrew, real quick, so your prediction for Rolly versus Ryan, how do you see that fight going down?
Bro, I don't want to disrespect anyone. I want to wish everybody the absolute best. I hope everybody gets in there, has a great time, leaves happy, healthy, a little bit richer.
Right.
But Ryan's quick, man. I'll just tell you something. Like, I remember from my fight days, I'm a bit old now, but I'm scared of the guy whose hands you can't see. Those are the ones to be afraid of.
Because they're all good fighters, but Ryan's clearly your favorite.
They're all fantastic fighters. Ryan.
Speaking to Little Giant Boxing, Lopez, who fights on the same bill, defending his World Boxing Organization's super lightweight world title against Arnold Barboza, backed Garcia for the win, pointing to Romero's past knockout losses and lack of activity as the deciding factor. I got Ryan Garcia. He hasn't been fighting that often and being stopped the way he was. I think he might be changing trainers, but even then, Lopez, however, did warn Garcia that Rolly's punches, the most powerful Gervonta Davis has felt, will be dangerous for however long it lasts.
All right, Jeff, give it to us. Let your fans hear it. What are your predictions for the upcoming Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia fight?
That's a pretty good fight. They're both friends, and they used to spar with one another in the gym quite often, but unfortunately I wasn't there to see it. But still, I think that it's going to be a great fight.
I think it's a great matchup. Ryan needs to be careful with Rolly's punching power. Rolly's still got power, man, and definitely could do something to Ryan with those shots. World Boxing Organization super lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez then concluded his thoughts on the upcoming match with The Ring. Lopez predicts a late round victory for Garcia. I'd say that the fight went to a late round stoppage by Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan will end it since he's been away for that long. Lopez bases his prediction on Garcia's extended absence from the ring, suggesting it might play a role in how the fight unfolds.
Fantastic fighters. Ryan and I are good friends,
right.
So we have a personal relationship there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to wish disrespect on anybody.
Right.
Or I don't want to jinx anybody. I just hope everybody has a great time. But I think when you can't see it coming, that's when it hurts.
You're going to be at the fight May 2nd?
I'm going to be at the fight May 2nd unless Ron DeSantis locks me up.
Former opponent of both and reigning World Boxing Association lightweight champion Davis has weighed in. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Tank said he expects the fight to end in a knockout, as he gives plaudits to Romero for hitting like bricks. It's going to be a good fight. Yeah, for sure. Somebody's getting knocked out. I ain't going to lie. Rolly hit hard. People are sleeping on Rolly because he doesn't have no chin. But Rolly can hit, bro. He's the only person I felt like when he swung, it felt like bricks were in his gloves.
Obviously, I don't know how to say it, obviously. But, yeah, if he don't got no chin now, so Rolly be getting caught. But Rolly, he can hit, bro. Like, he can hit. But he's the only person I felt like when he swung, it felt like bricks was in mud. Is that the hardest really? Like, is that the hardest one you faced in your career? Is that the hardest one? Who else I sparred that was like?
Davis said Romero, who he stopped in 6 rounds, winning would be a crazy upset, but that he was hoping he would pull it off. Garcia has left the door open for a potential rematch with Tank Davis in the near future, after suffering a 7th round knockout defeat to the 30-year-old from Baltimore back in 2023. However, the pair are unlikely to agree on a weight. Tim Bradley, a former 2-weight world champion who fought Manny Pacquiao 3 times, has had his say. "I think Ryan's gonna catch him with that left hook, and it's gonna be night-night," said Bradley when speaking to Fight Hub TV.
That was Danny Garcia. That's why Danny Garcia, that guy, Danny what? He Puerto Rican, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a hook he was swinging or?
Everything.
Oh, really?
I ain't gonna lie. He didn't touch me. He didn't touch me with nothing clean. But when he did touch me, he was like, hit me all across the room. Like, boom, boom. I'm like, damn.
I saw what you said. You going to Mayweather said you looking against Pedraza. You think he's going to kick Pedraza?
I think Ryan has definitely changed. I think his character has definitely changed with the way he's displaying it now. A lot more calmer and respectful. He looks like a real businessman now. He's not all loud and crazy like he was. He's toned it down a bit. I respect that with Ryan, and I think he's going to be a lot more focused now. Ryan Garcia has called his Times Square fight with Rolando Romero the biggest of his life as he looks to set up a massive rematch with Devin Haney later this year. The 26-year-old will headline Ring Magazine's Fatal Fury City of the Wolves card, the second in the space of 6 days after Chris Eubank, Jr. Conor Benn. It's also the ring's first in the US and will be streamed live on DAZN PPV. Should Garcia walk away from Midtown Manhattan with a win, it's been all but confirmed he will fight Haney once again later this year, likely October.
The harder he throws, the easier it's gonna be.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to knock me out, man.
Are you excited, man?
Yeah.
I bet you can't wait. Thank you.
Ryan, you've always had aura, but it's very peaceful this time.
Their first fight in April 2024 saw Garcia drop Haney 3 times en route to a unanimous decision win, which has since been overturned to a no contest after the Californian tested positive for the banned substance Ostarine. After serving a 1-year ban, which was imposed by the New York State Athletic Commission, Garcia is back, and he's adamant that his fight with Romero represents the most important one of his pro career so far, because he knows it means a do-over with Haney awaits. "I'm coming back with a bang," he said at the grand arrivals in New York City. "I'm not here to play any games. I've got a huge fight coming up next. I've got to take this as serious as if I'm fighting Devin. This is the biggest fight of my career. It's a historic fight. It means everything."
Ryan, you've always had aura, but it's very peaceful this time.
Yeah.
What's changed?
Just feeling peaceful, right? I don't know, man. Just chill, bro.
Remember.
Yeah.
Sure.
Peaceful coexistence. Oh, beautiful. Peace is good.
You're getting what you're getting. I'm going to bring that speed and power. I'm explosive and hungry. I'm focused and ready to kill. When I throw, usually they go down. He's going to come after me. I'm going to go after him. It's going to be a great night. I cannot wait. I want to put a whopping on Haney's head too. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. Maybe we can do it in NYC too, just like last time.
Y'all just told him, hey look, bro, you got a big fight coming up. Your fans are expecting to see a lot of, man, you better pick your flag up, man. Pick your flag up. Hey look.
Devastating the flag, brother.
Hey look, got a big fight coming up. What can fans expect when they see you face off against Ryan Garcia? Some people say it's your right hand versus left hook.
Y'all gonna have to just tune in and see. No hands, no nothing. Y'all just tune in.
Romero, not to be taken lightly, has sparred Garcia on 2 occasions before, and he's peddled the narrative that he came out on top both times. He's confident that he'll complete a hat trick on Friday night. He got his head beat twice, the 29-year-old said. 3 times a charm, right? When have I ever not gone for the knockout? Every fight I go for the knockout.
Being so shy, man.
Sebastian Sebastian, who you got this one?
Frank, I'm going to go with the one knockout, and that's Ryan Garcia, who's going to pull it off, for sure.
Think Ryan's going to pull it?
Yes, sir.
Who you got and why?
Ryan's right hook, bro, is a killer, so Ryan Garcia all day.
Wait, what about the twins versus Blair at the same? I like stirring shit up.
And Ryan, but how do you see this Ryan and Rolly fight?
Yeah, man, I like it, man. I think Ryan was stripped away from what he loves the most, and I think that humbled him. And I think that, you know, you can see it in his eyes that he appreciates being back on the spotlight. And I think it's probably a blessing in disguise, because I feel that if he would have just stood on that high horse, you know, he could have fell off. He could have lost focus. He could have lost track. And I think
Gabe Rosado broke down the fights on the big May 2nd card in Times Square that would feature Ryan Garcia versus Rolando Romero, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, and Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. Here's some of what Rosado had to say on the respective matchups. On Ryan Garcia versus Rolando Romero, he spoke so much about Ryan's dedication and commitment to boxing after his suspension, which will form the basis for his comeback. I like it. I think Ryan was stripped away from what he loves the most, and I think that humbled him. And I think you can see it in his eyes that he appreciates being back on the spotlight. I think it's probably a blessing in disguise, because I feel that if he would have just stood on that high horse, he could have fallen off. He could have lost focus. He could have lost track. I think whether he was on PEDs or not, I think him being stripped away from boxing was a blessing for him.
You know, and I like Rolly. So when I'm picking Ryan, it's not no hate towards Rolly. I like Rolly. He's a dope fighter. He's a dope entertainer. He definitely has a puncher's chance to pull an upset. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I think that Ryan, like I said, I could see it in his eyes that he appreciates being back in the moment. And I think that he's not going to take it for granted. And I think he's totally locked in.
Let me get your thought on this. We caught up with Rolly's former trainer, Coach Bullet.
I see it being Oscar De La Hoya versus Mayorga. Ryan being Oscar and Mayorga coming in, that's Raleigh, and just swinging them wild punches and just staying sharp with that jab and throwing that left hook right in between and catching Raleigh. I think it's one of those fights, it doesn't go past 5. On if he thinks Ryan Garcia could beat Jaron Ennis, he was basing that on Garcia's performance against Raleigh Romero before making any concrete prediction. Man, Jaron Ennis is a problem, man, and he showcased it in his last fight. How much of a beast he is. So I think, honestly, we have to see more of Ryan at the 147 division to even make that kind of statement. But I think Boots solidified himself in the 147 pounds division as probably the best guy in the division, unifying the titles, especially in the fashion he did. So I would say right now that Giron is definitely the top guy in the division, and Ryan has to prove himself and show us what he's made of in 47.
It's like one of those things that, wow, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah.
In terms of the fight, in terms of like the style, like a lot of people are picking Ryan to win and win via knockout. Like, do you see it that way? And if you do, why?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I see it being Oscar De La Hoya and Mayorga. You know, Ryan being Oscar. You know, and Mayorga coming in, that's Rolly, and swinging them wild punches and just staying sharp with that jab and throwing that left hook right in between.
Ryan Garcia said Friday night is going to be Rolando Rolly Romero's last fight because he's going to be retiring after he knocks him out in their main event clash, admitting that he sees Rolly as a funny person outside of the ring, great in the comedy relief role. But on Friday night, he's going to put him out of his career misery by sending him into retirement. The underdog Rolly, 29, is going to need to land something big in this fight to have a chance of winning because he's overmatched on paper against Ryan. You can't entirely rule out a victory for Romero because Garcia has been stopped before by Gervonta Davis. Raleigh has similar power, but he's not as tactical.
Yeah. We need you back.
Ryan, you mentioned Ennis. We asked Oscar about Ennis. It seems like you're very open to it. It seems like Oscar would be open to it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, another big fight, another mega event. That's what I like to do.
Ryan Garcia said, "You're in big trouble now because I'm not doing the stuff when I was with Haney, and I beat him. So that just shows you where I'm at," said Ryan Garcia to DAZN Boxing about his fight with Rolando Rolly Romero this Friday night at Times Square in New York City. "I showed everybody on my Instagram that I was smoking and drinking. I didn't hide it. People saw it, but now I'm not. You can see right now that I'm clean. So I'm even more focused. I'm training every day. So it's going to be even worse." Rolly Romero then replied, I want you to because I don't want anybody to take any credit or any of that stuff when I stop your head.
So, I don't shy away from anybody. Willing to do that too.
How do you look on Saturday?
You look good, man. I think Stanonius is a perfect fighter to look good for, Obviously, he's there to get hit a lot. Not a lot of defense, but, Boots did what he had to do, and he looked.
Garcia quipped, "Okay, bro. Like I said, you're going to be retiring that night. I promise you. It's going to be your last fight. Yes, you're going to be retiring, bro. 100% believe that. Feel that. When you train like it's your last fight. It's your last hara, so you better go out with a bang." On the same card, Riyadh Season's Fatal Fury City of Wolves, Devin Haney will make his comeback against Jose Ramirez, then Teofimo Lopez will defend his title against Arnold Barboza Jr. For most fans, the spotlight is firmly on the Garcia-Romero duel. If Garcia wins, the path to the much-anticipated rematch with Haney becomes clearer. However, speaking during their face-off discussion, monitored by Chris Mannix, Garcia emphasized that he's focused solely on the fight ahead.
Is it going to happen? Or do you want it to happen?
I shall see.
You shall see?
I shall see.
Yeah? What do you make of him skipping the Haney fight for a fight with you?
No opinion on that. No opinion on that either.
So what happens in a fight between you guys? How do you beat Ryan?
The conversation inevitably brought up the much-discussed sparring video between Garcia and Romero. Though several years old, the footage gained fresh traction as this matchup loomed. While Romero shared his version, Garcia didn't hold back either, shedding light on what transpired some 8 years ago. Actually, it was Ryan Garcia who first broached the subject. Looking at Romero, he said, "You actually should be thanking me for the success you've had in your career, because you used me in that sparring match." Before adding, "You used those moments, don't lie." This inevitably prompted Romero to fire back, questioning Garcia's popularity. Garcia, undeterred, insisted he had always been the hottest prospect in the game. "But when I rose though, were you not bringing that back every time?" he asked. It's been 8 years since Rolly Romero posted the sparring video on his YouTube channel. To Ryan Garcia, it remains iconic. Why? Chris Mannix asked. What made the footage so special that Garcia would call it iconic?
You know, you do your Rolly thing.
What is there to say?
Tell me.
What is there to say? The fights are ready. At the end of it, I'm a personality. I'm a star. Ryan's a star. There's nothing we don't need to do with it. That's so.
How's it working with Turkey Al-Sheikh and all these different promoters on this card, fighting in New York City?
In response, Ryan Garcia claimed that the video has been running for so many years and has racked up over 2 million views. It resembled a hit sitcom like Friends. Romero, however, had a different take. It seems the footage completely wore him out. Have you, when you see that video, has it ever bothered you over the years? Mannix probed. 100%? Yeah, it's bothered me, replied Ryan Garcia. However, he clarified that the impact had lessened over time compared to the early days of his career. Back when he was still making his name, the video frustrated him because he didn't feel he performed poorly in the sparring session.
Great doing it, and I look forward to great competition in the future.
On Twitter, Ryan, I know you said that you feel you win that fight.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned he just gets hit with too many punches.
He does.
People are now saying that oh wow, he gets hit with a lot of punches, and that's something that you notice, I guess, from the beginning.
I mean, but he's a big boy though.
That he feels that Rolly has a mental edge over Ryan, given how well he did with the sparring. Okay, what's that response?
That don't matter. Yeah. Sparring is sparring. Listen, a lot of people got the best of me in sparring sometimes. Sometimes you're not even in the mood to go spar. Sometimes sparring you're just working on maybe looking at shots, working on your eyes. Maybe sometimes you're working on a jab. So it's you're not going full out in sparring. Some guys do. Some guys, we call them gym fighters. They look great in the gym and then they look horrible in the fight.
It wasn't even something I felt that was so bad, I felt it was just like a regular sparring match, He had a couple of good moments, but I felt like I sparred pretty good considering I was really low in weight at the time. But, it did bother me, Garcia said. Now, with the May 2nd fight against Romero, Garcia has the opportunity to put to rest the doubts that resurfaced after that sparring footage went viral. A closer inspection shows just how critical this upcoming fight is for both their careers. Ryan Garcia faced heavy criticism following his loss to Devin Haney. To clean his slate, he now has a chance to prove he can beat a heavy hitter before a potential Haney rematch looms.
They look horrible in the fight. So, And so I don't take the sparring for any, I don't take it too serious.
I caught up with Rolly, and he's confident he's going to win the fight. And I asked him, where's this confidence coming from? Is it coming from like your training? And he's like, Marcos, like look at every single interaction I've ever had with Ryan, and that'll tell you as to why. I'm still kind of wondering, but I think a part of it is like he's not intimidated at all by Ryan, and that.
As for Rolando Romero, whose career stalled after a brutal drubbing by Isaac Cruz last year, it's a chance to put himself back on the map by defeating one of boxing's biggest modern-day draws. A bit of back and forth erupted when it was Romero's turn to recall that day. But overall, it was playful banter, unusually respectful between two fighters who have known each other for a long time. What's your take? Will Ryan Garcia finally shake off the ghost of that infamous sparring session and knock out Rolando Romero? And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.